welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. I am Nonkululeko Munkwe and I am back with another video. And if you are not subscribed, please don't forget to press that subscribe button. I promise you this channel is lit. You know, it takes, sometimes I really do underestimate the work that it takes to sit down and record a video. You have to do like your research on the topic that you want to talk about, and then after that you have to put on some makeup and lay your wigs. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of work. So normally I dedicate my Sundays after church to making some videos and doing some sewing if I need to, and one needs to always look good when they come here. Like, I am so in love with today's look. Like, my husband needs to take me on a date night, something after this. Like, I look good. And sometimes I look good because you don't really know who's going to be watching. What if for some miraculous reason Sizwe Dlomo bumps into my channel and finds me looking ashy? My crush Sizwe Dlomo, and my husband knows about that crush, by the way. He's fine with it. He needs to live with it, but he's cool with it. He's cool with the fact that I have had a crush on Sizwe Dlomo even before I met him. Yeah. Anyway, before I just carry on talking about nothing, today's topic is going to be about things to consider before starting a family, or things to consider before having a baby. Because when I wanted to have a baby, I could feel it in my soul, having a baby wouldn't be actually such a bad idea. I started entertaining the thought, started telling my husband about it. I was really excited and very open to the idea, but I wouldn't say I was ready, okay, now I'm ready to have a baby. I've never really had that feeling of being ready, because I don't know how being ready feels like. I don't know how being ready is supposed to feel like before you decide to have a kid. So I felt I don't know, man. I felt like, it would be so nice. I felt excited to be pregnant. And I felt like, okay, it wouldn't be such a bad idea. We had just gotten married. It wouldn't be really such a bad idea. It wasn't really pressure from people, no. But it was like me. I felt okay. But I didn't really find a lot of things online talking about, I didn't even look maybe that hard. I just went to how I felt at that time, but I didn't really find a lot of things talking about what to consider or what to think about, before having a child. That's why today I just decided to sit down and talk about it, in case somebody out there watching is considering having their bundle. So I've gathered 4 points which I think could be useful, and I'm gonna go through them. I'll try to be as brief as possible because I'm in the coldest room in the house, and I'm also having some juice, which is also cold. So yeah, I'll try to be as quick as possible. The first thing I think is important before you consider having a baby is to obviously discuss it with your partner and feel, if your partner is ready, just get his opinion and stuff. But I think the most important person to be ready when having a child, I believe, is the woman, because your life, your body, the way you think, and your career, everything changes after having a baby. Not changes really, but is affected rather after having a baby, even during your pregnancy. So you as a woman, I think is the most important person who should be ready. I'm gonna make an example. When I was pregnant with my first baby, I was in school. I was completing my BTech, and then I was very sick. so I couldn't study properly. But my husband went on. We were in school together actually, but I fell sick. I had morning sicknesses. I couldn't complete my assignments. I was emotional. I was just all over the place. And he went on. He carried on with his studies, registered subjects. His life went on, and my life was the most affected because I was the one who was feeling the baby growing. I was the one who was sick all the time. There's only so much that you could do. You could take me to the doctor, comfort me here and there, but really I was the one feeling every little thing. So that's why I'm saying, more than your partner, I think you as a woman need to be 100% prepared and ready before having a child. You need to look at yourself like on your personal journey. Like, have you studied further enough? Have you accomplished majority of the things that you had planned to accomplish? Have you traveled enough? Are you happy with yourself? Mentally, where are you? What kind of space are you mentally? Have you studied further? Like I said, I fell pregnant, but I was still busy with my studies because I really because you'll never know really how pregnancy is going to treat you until you actually fall pregnant. So like I said, maybe if I had completed schooling first and then fell pregnant, like pregnancy can be postponed, but even studies, they can be postponed, but yeah, I guess it's just a way option. So point number one is your personal journey as a woman, and especially career-wise. That's very, 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 very important. So I fell pregnant when I was I think I was a senior technical officer, which was, I was okay. I wanted to be a specialist, but not at that exact time, but I was working towards becoming a specialist. So I had a permanent job. I had my own medical aid. I was doing fairly okay financially. And then I would say that my career was not at its peak and it was not low, but I could say that it was just the first 5 years of my career. It was the beginning, which wasn't so, I was fairly comfortable. So I think career-wise, yeah, I didn't make such a bad decision with having. But I think career-wise, you must be okay with pausing a little bit, pausing on projects, being prepared to go on maternity leave, being prepared to know that you are not going to be able to give it your absolute, like your 100%, because sometimes pregnancy can be really, really draining, especially on the body. Some people get extremely tired, some people get extremely sick. Guys, pregnancy is a lot. Some people even lose their teeth. Like it's a lot. So you won't be able to give, like, whether you like it or not, you won't be able to give your 100% shot at your job. Okay, it's just how it is, because you're not yourself. You're sick, you're tired, you are just not yourself. So career-wise, it's also important that maybe your career is where you want it to be, or where you ideally want it to be. And then I think just consider that. So number one is personal journey as the woman, as the primary caregiver of the baby that is going to come. All right. The second one, which I think is important, is like your relationship with your partner and the partner that you're gonna have a baby with. I'm assuming that, like, you married. I would really advise that you be married. I know that marriage doesn't mean that, it doesn't guarantee that, your partner will stick with you for forever and stuff like that, because things happen. But at least you have that security of knowing that this person is committed enough to want to marry you, and that person will be committed enough to having a baby with you. Unlike maybe your boyfriend, he hasn't really shown much of a commitment, in my opinion. He's a boyfriend, he can leave when he wants to. So I would advise that maybe, be married to the person that you'd want to have a baby with, ideally. And then, how is your relationship with your partner? How is he as a person? How is he treating you? Is the relationship strong enough? Because having a baby really rocks you. It's one of the ultimate tests of any marriage, of any relationship. It doesn't necessarily, especially black people have this perception that having a baby will make the relationship stronger. It doesn't actually. If you have a baby and your relationship is weak, and it's going to become weaker. Having a baby doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna make your relationship stronger. No. Having a baby requires that the relationship with your partner is quite strong, that you guys know each other well enough. So just check the kind of relationship that you have with your partner. And also, having a baby also means that it's the person you're going to be stuck with for the rest of your life. As long as that human being is alive, that human being is half of that person and half of you, and you guys are going to be stuck together forever. So you are family forever. So I think you need to make a very informed decision to if that's the person that you want to be stuck with for the rest of your life. The family, your partner's family as well. Are they the kind of people that you want to? Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on. Is your partner's family the kind of people you would want to have around your child? Yeah. So number 1 is personal journey. Number 2 is a partner. And also, as a couple, have you guys done everything that you'd want to do? Like, have you traveled? Because when you have a baby, when you want to travel, you really think about it like 10 times. Who's gonna look after my baby? Who's gonna stay over? Are they gonna be well taken care of? You'd end up carrying that guilt and that thing that we're going on holidays but we left the babies, whatever. And then you're gonna maybe end up not really enjoying being in the holiday half-hearted because you're so worried about your kids. So have you and your partner traveled enough? Have you explored enough in your relationship so to a point where you can bring the third person? Because I think that's also quite important, because I think babies don't really go out of stock. So they're not really out of stock. They never really sold out. So if you can postpone it as much as possible, so that you can really explore your partner, so that you can really explore inside the relationship with your partner. And then after that, consider having your bundle. Point number 4 is your financial situation. Kids are not a once-off payment that you've deposited a house, like you deposited a house. Like, okay, I'm depositing a house now. It's a once-off payment. Lawyer fees and transfer fees paid once off. No, kids are expensive. They're expensive. Sometimes you get a baby who's how can I say this? Maybe they've got a skin problem, for example. They don't use certain type of nappies. They don't use certain type of lotions. They don't drink. They drink a certain type of milk. Then it just becomes expensive. It's such an expensive exercise. If your baby doesn't really take breast milk, you need to buy milk all the time, and milk is so expensive, guys. And when they're newborns, they live on liquids, so I think you literally have to buy a can of milk like twice a month, like, because they finish every 2 weeks. So just consider all of that also. And they don't really get cheap. You know what I'm saying? Because fine, they get off the diaper stage, they get off the milk stage, then it's crèche, then they have to go to school, and then after crèche it's grade 1, and then after that it's tickets, kuphelile. And then after that it's school, after that it's university. So it doesn't really get cheap. And you don't it's not guaranteed that they're going to be settled in life early. Maybe sometimes, because sometimes things just don't go their way. Maybe they can stay with you until they're 30, and you're gonna need to support them maybe until they're 30, until they find their feet, because things don't really go the way we want them all the time, and your kids might need your support for a very long time. So financially, also look at your financial state. Sometimes you might get a child who's sickly. Like I remember a friend of mine's son had a problem with he would get issues with his breathing, and he'd be like in hospital maybe once a month. He'd need to go to hospital because he had an episode where he couldn't breathe. So you need to have medical aid cover for them, and if you're not going to get medical cover for them, you need cash for that. There's nothing as painful as bringing a child into the world that at the end of the day, you can't really support them. I think I would go absolutely crazy if that were to happen to me. If I were to be in a situation where I can't really support my kids financially, then I have to maybe depend on certain people or family to support my kids for me, I would be absolutely devastated. So before having a child, before you fall pregnant, really do consider what's going to happen financially, because they are demanding, and it's quite expensive. So you need to be ready to have medical aid for them, and they need to be clothed, they need to be bathed, and you don't know what kind of problems they come in with. And like I said, maybe you'd have a child who's just allergic to stuff and allergic to this milk, doesn't drink that milk, doesn't use those type of diapers. So financially, that might take a strain on you. So financially, how are you doing? That is also an important factor. Last but not least is definitely your support system. Having, the saying that it takes a village to raise a child. It does take a village to raise a child. What kind of support do you have is also important. You need to be able, sometimes maybe when you can't get like your support, being obviously your immediate family around, maybe your mother or your aunties, then you need to get a nanny who you're going to also need to be able to afford. And you need to consider all of those things, but having support is very important. Your partner also needs to be a good supportive system. Your family, are they or will they be there for you if you need somebody to look after the babies? Because sometimes you're not gonna, there's gonna be situations where you're gonna be where you can't really be with your children or look after your children or be with your children. Let's say you've got a job interview, for example, or you need to get away to another province because you've got something to do with like a job or something, then you need a support system there. So how is your support system? Start establishing your support system. Maybe start looking into nannies, or try actually think of all of that, what's going to happen when the child is here and after your maternity leave is done. Are you going to look for a nanny? Are you going to send the baby to school? Is your mom going to live with you? Is your husband's mom going to live with you? Do you have an aunt who can come and live with you guys? Always consider that. And even if you make a decision, let's say to send your baby in school, there's also consequences to that. So it's best to have a plan B. If that plan doesn't work to send your baby to school, then maybe consider getting a nanny. If that does, so you need to think of all of these things. What kind of support system are you gonna have? Because you and your partner alone won't be able to do it together. You need like a serious support system. Luckily, we do have a support system. We've got an amazing nanny. I know that I can call my mom anytime to come help me with the kids. I can also call my husband's mom Kulu. She comes here in a flash and helps us with the kids when our nanny is not around. So we've got a good support system. And also me and my husband, we do support each other. it's not really you know, raising kids is not just my job, but it's his job as well, so we do support each other there. Yes, and I think that is it from me today, guys. If you found this video useful, please press that subscribe button and just share, and don't forget to like the video, give it a huge thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.